Hello everyone, good evening. Can somebody please confirm if I'm audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So yesterday we were discussing what all softwares we need to attend this training, and we understood that we need to have Visual Studio Code installed. Then we understood how to download Visual Studio Code and how to install that. Along with that, we also discussed how to use live server extension, how to use open in browser extension. Yes, so we discussed all those things. So let me share my screen. Give me a second. I hope my screen is also visible. Yes, it should be visible. And yesterday we were also discussing that what is the use of HTML, what is the use of CSS, what is the use of Bootstrap, what is the use of JavaScript. All these things we were discussing, and we understood how can we start writing one HTML program, how can we add CSS, how can we add JavaScript to that. So these all things we were discussing. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. You can ask, and I will take up only the technical questions now. If you have general questions like what is the course fee, what is the class timing, those all questions I will take up at the end of the session. If you have any technical questions, please do let me know now. Please raise your hand if you have any technical questions. Okay, if there are no questions, let me continue. If there are no questions. Yeah. So yesterday, most of the people, they were asking what is Angular and what is React, how Angular and React are different, which one is better. Let me address that question. Once I address that question, next we'll discuss JavaScript. So to address that, let me open my notes. There was a question. The question was how Angular is different from React. How Angular is different from React, and which one is better. Let's understand. If we try to understand how React and Angular are different, yes, React is a library. React is a library which got launched in the market in the year of 2013, whereas Angular is a framework which is there since 2009. Angular is a framework which got launched in the year of 2009. Then what other differences we have? React is lightweight. Angular is little heavier than React. What do we mean by that? That means if you create one hello world program in React, the amount of space it will take, and if you write one hello world program in Angular, the amount of space it will take, there will be little difference. Angular will be little heavier than React. The size of Angular project will be little more than a React project. In React, for HTML or for look and feel, we use JSX, and for functionality or business logic, we use JavaScript. Whereas in Angular, for look and feel, we use HTML, and for business logic or for functionality, we use TypeScript. HTML we use for look and feel, TypeScript we use for writing business logic. But with React, we use JSX for look and feel and JavaScript for business logic. In React, the data binding is unidirectional. The data binding is unidirectional. Unidirectional means the data will flow only in one direction. If you have a variable, you can show that variable value in HTML. But if you change something in the HTML, automatically the variable value will not change in the JavaScript file. For that, we have to write extra logic. Whereas in Angular, it supports two-way data binding. What does that mean? Maybe I can quickly show you. You can see, I'll open something. You can see there is a variable called name. This name variable has value Sachin Tendulkar. This variable value, I'm able to see here, I'm able to see here, I'm able to see here. If a variable value we are able to print in the HTML, it is one-way binding. But if I go and change something here, when I change something here, this change is not reflecting back here. When I change here, again, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. But when I change here, everywhere that variable is used, everywhere it will make a change. This is called two-way data binding. You can bind the data from variable to input box, and in input box also, if you type something, that value will go to that variable. This is two-way data binding, and it will work out of the box in Angular, but not in React. Not in React. For that, we have to write extra logic. We have to write on change event. Yes, React uses virtual DOM. This virtual DOM is bit faster than other DOM, regular DOM, but Angular doesn't have that virtual DOM concept. Angular has regular DOM. React is using Axios. React doesn't have its own library using which we can make Ajax call or we can interact with server. No, React doesn't have that. React depends on another library to make API calls. To make API calls, React makes another library. That library name is Axios. Whereas in Angular, we don't have to be dependent on another library. Angular has its own module called HTTP client module. In React, there is no dependency injection. In Angular, we have dependency injection concept. In Angular, we have form validation inbuilt. Form validation will work out of the box. Whereas in React, there is no form validation inbuilt available. To develop one web application, only React is not enough. Only React is not enough. We need to use extra libraries. Only React is not enough to develop one web application, whereas only Angular is enough to develop one web application. We don't have to be dependent on a lot of other third-party libraries. No additional libraries are required. Most of the things you will get in Angular itself. Whereas if we are using React to develop our web application, we have to be dependent on other libraries. React doesn't have everything at a single place. Okay, what is React? It is a library. But what is Angular? Angular is a framework. Why React is a library and Angular is a framework? Which one is better? Which one is more powerful? Definitely, framework is more powerful than library. Library will have limited functionalities, whereas a framework will have many functionalities. If we try to understand how framework and library are different, yes, framework is a group of libraries. When you combine multiple libraries, we call it as framework. But library, it will perform a specific operation. It can do only one thing. Framework provides ready to use tools. It provides standards. It provides templates for fast application development. Whereas library provides only reusable functions. Framework is collection of libraries and APIs. Library is collection of helper functions. A framework cannot be easily replaceable. If one application is already developed in Angular, we cannot simply replace Angular with Vue.js or some other framework. No, it will take time. But a library can be easily replaceable by another library. When I say a library can be easily replaceable by another library, it doesn't mean that we can replace a project that is built in React with something else within a week. No, we cannot do that. When I say library can be easily replaceable, I mean other libraries. Let's say for date manipulation, we are using Movement.js library. Today, our client is happy with Movement.js. Tomorrow, they say, no, I don't want to go with this library. I will use something else. Yes, it is possible. We can replace easily. Suppose we are using load-as. Load-as is a library using which we can manipulate array data and collection data. Tomorrow, we will replace load-as with something else that is easily replaceable. I'm not saying ki React is easily replaceable by something else. No. Angular, Vue, these all are frameworks, whereas jQuery, Lodas, Movement.js, React.js, these all are library. Why they are library? There are a lot of things missing. You will not find everything at a single place. We can compare a framework with a hospital with full of doctors. You have a hospital where you have pediatric doctor, where you have gynec doctor, you have ENT doctor, you have medicine specialists. A hospital with full of doctors can be called as framework. And a doctor specialized in only one thing. If you go to a doctor who is specialized only in ENT, his expertise is only into ENT. If you have fever, that doctor will say, boss, I don't know what is the medicine for your fever. This is just one example. Don't take it serious. Yes. One more thing, one more example I can give you. Let's say we have a mall, we have more market, or we have DMart. If you go to more, you will get vegetable there, you will get grocery there, you will get clothes there, you will get other things also you will get there. So you can compare a mall with framework. But if you go to your local shop, street shop, if you want to purchase grocery, vegetable, electronic electric bulb, you have to visit 3-4 local shops. You will get your grocery in grocery shop. You will get vegetable in vegetable shop. You will get electronic bulb in electronic shop. You have to visit many shops. But When you go to mall, you will get everything at one place. You can purchase vegetable, let it be grocery, let it be clothes, let it be electronic items. You will get everything at a single place. So which one will you prefer? Will you prefer mall, or you will visit different local shops to purchase the things? I can allow you to speak up. Please speak up. What do you think? Which one is better?
Mall.
Mall. So which one is mall? From Angular
Framework.
or React?
Angular.
It's Angular.
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 What is
Angular.
React?
Huh?
Local shop,
Huh?
right? You will get only one item there, isn't it? Then why people are going with React? Yeah, that question should be there in your mind. Yes. If you want to purchase only one item, let's say
Because it's lightweight.
it is lightweight,
Because it's
and
lightweight.
yes, it is lightweight and it has virtual DOM concept, because of which this is faster than other frameworks. Let's say you need only one mm, sugar 1 kg. You need sugar 1 kg. Will you go to a supermarket to purchase sugar 1 kg? You will prefer to go to a local market, local shop, right? The same way, if your application is small, let me clearly tell you where React is better and where Angular is better. If you want to develop a web application which is UI heavy, if you want to develop web application which is UI heavy, for UI heavy applications, people prefer React. For functionality heavy applications, people prefer Angular. What do we mean by UI heavy and functionality heavy? Let me explain. For UI heavy and small applications, we can use React because it will be faster. Suppose you have to develop one application which is similar like W3 School. Is it a small application or big application? It's a small application. We don't have much functionality here. You just have to click here, you will read the content. You click here, you read the content. You click here, you read the content. That's all. This is the simplest website. If you have to develop one application similar like W3 School, which one we will prefer? React or Angular? Here we can use React.
React.
Yes. If you have to develop Twitter kind of application, again, Twitter is considered as small or medium application. It's not a functionality heavy application. What all things we do see in Twitter? People will be posting, people can chat with others, they can send audio, video, photo and all, nothing much, right? So this is again a small application, or we can call it as medium application. For Twitter kind of applications, we can use React. React will do better here. If you have to develop tutorials point, people will prefer React here. If you have to develop Facebook kind of application, React is better because these are small applications and these are UI heavy application, means the UI should be better. But if we talk about Flipkart, Flipkart is not UI heavy application. It is a large application and it has functionalities. Lot of functionalities are there. There is search functionality, there is cart functionality, login logout functionality, payment gateway integrated and whatnot. We have lot of things. We have lot of things here. So this application cannot be considered a small application. and it has a lot of functionalities involved. So these kind of applications, they will not only take care of UI, they will also think about their functionality, uh, authentication, authorization, and whatnot, many things. So for this kind of applications, people will prefer Angular. For large applications, people usually prefer Angular. For small applications, people will prefer React. React will do better if your application is UI heavy. Angular is better if your application is functionality heavy. If you think about Paytm, it's a functionality heavy application. We can prefer Angular here. Does it mean that we cannot develop Paytm kind of application using React? No, I didn't mean like that. I told ki people will prefer Angular here. People will prefer Angular here to develop Flipkart like application. Does it mean we cannot develop Flipkart like application in React? We can do, but Angular will perform better here. Can we not develop W3 school like application in Angular? Yes, we can do. But for those kind of small application, there is no need of Angular. We can go with React there. I will give you one small example. Suppose you have two bikes. You have one scooty and you have one Thunderbird. Okay. You want to roam locally in Bangalore. You want to go for vegetable. You will roam in the market. Which one will you prefer? Scooty or Thunderbird?
Scooty.
Scooty. If you go with Thunderbird, is there any problem? No problem. But you will prefer to go with Scooty. If it is inside city, if you want to roam, you will prefer Scooty here. It doesn't mean that you cannot take your Thunderbird if you want to roam inside city. If you want to go outside Bangalore, let's say 100 kilometer or 200 kilometer, which one will you prefer? Scooty or Thunderbird?
Scooty. Thunderbird.
Right? Does it mean
Yes.
that you cannot go outside the city with a Scooty? You can still go, right?
But
Got it, na?
yeah.
It is the same thing here also. What is your intention? Are you going to develop a small application which is UI heavy, or you are going to develop a large application with hell lot of functionalities? If your plan is to develop large application with functionality heavy, go with Angular. If it is small application with UI heavy, go with React. Hope I did answer your question. How Angular and React is different, how they are related, right? For what kind of application we should choose React, for what kind of application we should use Angular. And most of the large applications are in Angular. You will find more opportunities with Angular. Okay. Yes. So with this, we understood what is React and what is Angular, how they are different, for what kind of applications we should use Angular, and for what kind of applications we should use React. Okay. Now we will start with our JavaScript discussion. Let me start with that. What I will do is I will open Visual Studio Code. In this Visual Studio Code, I'll create one more folder, and the folder name I'll give Day-2. In this Day-2, we'll create one HTML file, maybe demo_1.html. Okay. In this HTML file, to create a boilerplate HTML code, what is the shortcut? What is the shortcut?
Exclamatory mark.
Explanation.
Exclamatory mark and
Yeah.
enter. Yes. Fine. Let us start with JavaScript. Yesterday we were discussing that we use HTML to manage the content of a web page. We use CSS for styling. We use Bootstrap for responsiveness, and we have a lot of predefined components in Bootstrap. We have table, carousel, modal, card. We have a lot of predefined CSS. We can use them. And why we use JavaScript? We use JavaScript to manage the behavior of a web page. Okay. What JavaScript is? What is JavaScript? Yes, JavaScript is dynamically typed, synchronous, and single-threaded programming language. JavaScript is dynamically typed, synchronous, and single-threaded programming language. What do you mean by dynamically typed? Dynamically typed means if you declare a variable, var a equal to 5. If you declare a variable and you assign a number value to that, later point of time, you can assign a string value to it. Again, you can assign a Boolean value to it. Again, you can assign object or array value to it. So there is no one to complain that initially you had number. Why are you storing string? Why are you storing Boolean? Why are you storing object? So this is a valid syntax. That is why we call it as dynamically typed programming language. It can have any value stored to that variable. There is no type restriction. Yes. Then synchronous. Why JavaScript is called synchronous programming language? It is called synchronous programming language because JavaScript code will be executed line by line from top to bottom. In JavaScript, everything will be executed from top to bottom and line by line. If you write 10 statements, all of them will be executed sequentially line by line. That is why we call it as synchronous programming language. Yes, all the time it is not synchronous. We can make it asynchronous also by using set timeout, set interval, by using Ajax concept. We can make JavaScript asynchronous also, but default statements are synchronous. It is single-threaded. What is single-threaded? Single-threaded means we have only one thread where our JavaScript program runs. Like Java and other programming language, we don't have multiple threads where we can run multiple things at the same time. No. Let us understand each of them in detail. Dynamically typed means the types are checked and data type mismatches are spotted only at runtime. If you have a variable with a number value, later time you can assign a string value to it, you can assign a Boolean value to it, you can assign anything to it and nobody will be complaining. Why synchronous? JavaScript engine executes code from top to bottom, line by line. That is why it is called synchronous. Why single-threaded? JavaScript engine has only one call stack. What is call stack? We are going to discuss tomorrow. So please have patience. JavaScript engine has only one call stack so that it only can do one thing at a time. JavaScript engine has only one call stack. We don't have more than one call stack to do multiple things at the same time. That is why we call JavaScript as single threaded programming language. Yes, we have been discussing JavaScript engine. JavaScript engine. What is this JavaScript engine? Frequently, we have been using this term. Okay, what is JavaScript engine? Is it one physical engine? Does it look like bike engine, car engine? No. Then what is JavaScript engine? A JavaScript engine is a program or an interpreter which executes our JavaScript code. Where this engine is present, this engine will be there inside every browser. Every browser, every browser does have JavaScript engine, and that JavaScript engine is a program which helps to execute JavaScript code. Okay, every browser will have JavaScript engine inside it. We have different JavaScript engines. The JavaScript engine that is present inside Google Chrome is V8. V8 is the JavaScript engine name which is there in Google Chrome. Inside Firefox browser, the JavaScript engine that is present is SpiderMonkey. The name of JavaScript engine that is there inside Firefox browser is SpiderMonkey. Inside Safari browser, the JavaScript engine that is there is JavaScript Core. Inside Internet Explorer, we have Chakra. So V8, SpiderMonkey, JavaScript Core, Chakra, these are JavaScript engines we have in every browser. And these JavaScript engines, they help to execute our JavaScript code. Whenever we write JavaScript code, we never compile like other programming language. To run Java code, you need to install Java software. Then you have to run some command. That command will convert your Java code to a machine understandable code. All those things will happen there. That happens in Python also. But in JavaScript, you directly write your code, you open your code in browser will be able to understand. How browser understands? Because inside browser, we have JavaScript engine. That JavaScript engine converts our JavaScript code to browser understandable code. Okay, hope this part is clear. Do you have any questions here? No questions, fine. If no questions, let me continue. Yes, how many ways we can add?
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Sir, what is Node.js?
Yeah, we'll take this question later. Huh? Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay. How many ways we can add JavaScript to our HTML file? Yes, there are two ways we can add JavaScript to our HTML file. One is internal JavaScript, external JavaScript. What is internal JavaScript and what is external JavaScript? When we write our JavaScript code inside HTML file itself, if we write JavaScript code in HTML file itself, console.log a, when we write JavaScript code inside HTML file itself using script tag, this is called internal JavaScript. Internal JavaScript. This is internal JavaScript. When we write our JavaScript code by using script tag in the HTML file itself, we call it as internal JavaScript. What is the problem of internal JavaScript or limitation? The limitation is whatever JavaScript code you have written, if this JavaScript code you want to use in another file, you cannot reuse it. You have to write these things again in another HTML file. What is the limitation of internal JavaScript? The limitation of internal JavaScript is the code that you have written here cannot be reused in another HTML file. To avoid that, what we do, we create external JavaScript file. And how we create and use, let me explain. For that, I'll create another file. The file name I will give is demo_2.html, and I'll create a JavaScript file demo_2.js. So there are two files I created, demo_2.html, demo_2.js. In demo_2.html, I will create HTML structure, and I'll say h1. This is, or I can say h1 external JavaScript, external JavaScript. Yes, and we will have a different JavaScript file. Here we can write any JavaScript code var name equal to something, Sachin, and I'll say console.log name. So this is one JavaScript file. Here we have some JavaScript code. If this JavaScript code needs to be used by one HTML file, then we can include that by using script tag. Script src equal to, in the current folder, I have one file. That file name is demo2.js. So this is how we can include one JavaScript file into another HTML file. So this HTML file, when this HTML file runs, it will run along with this JavaScript file. So when we open this HTML file, it will run that JavaScript file also, and it should print Sachin in the console. You can see it is working. What is the benefit of external JavaScript over internal JavaScript? What is the benefit? This JavaScript file can be used by only this HTML, or other HTMLs also can use.
Other HTML also.
So this is the benefit, right?
Yes.
We
Really.
can reuse the code. Yes. So what is internal JavaScript? Internal JavaScript means we write script tag either in the header body section of the HTML file. It is called page level JavaScript. But external, yes, external can be included either in the head or in the body of the HTML file. A separate JavaScript file needs to be created. That file needs to be included to the HTML file using this syntax. And when we do so, it is called application level JavaScript or project level JavaScript. You can use that JavaScript file anywhere in your project. It is not restricted to one HTML file, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Hope we understood what is internal and external JavaScript. Next, we will understand. Now, I'll ask a question. What is the best place to include JavaScript files? Is it head or body? Where we should include the external JavaScript?
Header.
Head
End,
or body?
end of the body,
Header.
header of the body, sir.
Both.
So there is no difference if I write here or I write here. We can write here. We can write here also. What is the best place to include JavaScript file? In head section or in body section? Or there is no difference, we can add wherever we want. Alternatively, we can use. What do you think?
Head section, sir.
Should use
Head
it in the
section.
head section.
Head section, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any problem if I include the JavaScript file in head section, or there is no problem? That is the best place.
Best place, sir.
Anyone who would like to oppose? or all of you are saying that head is the best place to include JavaScript file?
I think body section it will execute order wise.
What is the problem if I include the script file in head section?
We cannot identify, sir, where the script is executed.
Why we cannot identify?
There are a lot of tags, na, sir.
Sir, may I?
Yes, please.
Sir, actually, browser reads the HTML page from top to bottom. So we use JavaScript, we include it in head, or to use CSS, we include it in head, external CSS or external JavaScript. Including in body section will give the effect much later. So page will not properly work, sir.
Okay. So head is better, you are saying, right?
Yes, sir.
No. Let me answer. Let me answer. What is the best place to include script tag? First of all, guys, I did share last 2 days recording. You can find. Okay. So let us understand what is the best place to include script file. To answer that, if you have JavaScript code written and in that JavaScript file, you are not at all accessing DOM elements, you just declared variable and you are printing, then that JavaScript file can be included in the head section. But what if my JavaScript file is included in the head section? And what I'm trying to do here, let's say I have a div. Let's assume I have a div. This is a div. And I will try to change the color of this div, ID equal to div1. I will try to change the color of this div by using JavaScript. So here what we will do, we will say document dot get element by ID div1 dot style dot color is equal to something, or dot background color is equal to something. We want to change the background color of this div to blue. Do you think it will work or it won't work? What do you think?
Yes, it will work.
It will work. Are you sure?
It won't, sir.
It won't. You can see it is not working and there is one error. Cannot read properties of null. So what is happening? Please understand. JavaScript engine will start parsing your HTML code from line number 1, and when it reaches line number 8, it will go and execute your JavaScript code. When JavaScript code is getting executed, when it is executing line number 4, document.getElement by ID div1, it will try to find this element in the DOM. So by the time your line number 8 is getting executed, do you think this div is already available in the DOM? No, it is not there, right? So what is happening? First JavaScript code is getting executed, and by the time my JavaScript code is getting executed, my elements are not yet available in DOM. If the elements are not yet available in the DOM, how can you access here and how can you change the background color? You cannot do it, right? Can you do it? No, we cannot do it. So it is clear that if your JavaScript code is trying to access one of your element from the DOM, then you are not supposed to place your script tag in the head section. The same thing, if I do in the body, then it will work. It is working fine, and the background color of that div is blue. Okay. It is working. Why it is working? Because by the time my JavaScript code is getting executed, all the HTML elements are available in the DOM. All the HTML elements are present in the DOM. If you ask me what is DOM, DOM means the hierarchical representation of all your HTML elements inside browser. Inside browser, whatever you write here, HTML head, body, h1 div, all these things will go to your browser. In browser, you will see all those elements, and all these elements you can access by using one object. That object name is document. In JavaScript, there is one object, that object name is document. This document object will contain all your HTML tag details. So it has this. Here your elements are present. So are you clear? What is the best place to include script tag, head or body?
Body.
Body.
Yeah. So we can answer in such a way that we can say that if our JavaScript code is not accessing any DOM element and doing some simple thing, we can place it in the head section, right? But if my JavaScript code is trying to access one DOM element, and I'm trying to do something with that element, then head is not the best place, because by the time my JavaScript code gets executed, the elements will not be present. I will not be able to find those elements in browser. But if I place my script tag at the end, then what happens? By the time this code is getting executed, all these elements are there. So we can easily access those elements and we can do whatever we want to do. Is it clear? You understood what is the problem when we write JavaScript code in the head section?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
I have one question.
Yes, please.
I think this issue is resolved from using the asynchronous as well defer. Using this keyword, async and defer.
Okay. What is async and defer?
The first loading the DOM data for the
Yes, boss. I'm going to discuss that. Give me another 5 minutes. I'll discuss whatever you are saying. So we were here. I asked you a question. What is the best place to include JavaScript files? Is it head or body? So we can answer that. If we are including some third-party libraries, then we can put those things in head section. But if we are writing our own JavaScript and there we are trying to access DOM elements, body is the best place. Now I will come to async and defer. I'll explain how to use async and defer. Okay. I'll discuss async and defer. Any question so far, or we are good? Okay, we are good. Let's continue. Okay. Now, as somebody told, what if I write my script tag? What if I write my script tag in the head section only? I will write my script tag in the head section only, but I want to make sure that my JavaScript code should be executed at the end of DOM parsing. For that, we have keywords like async, async or defer. When we use async, you can see my script tag is included in the head section only. Even if my script tag is there in the head section, it is working fine because of async. Like async, we have one more attribute called defer. With defer also, it is working fine. So what is the concept behind this? If I remove this, it won't work. It will say key, I'm not able to find your element. Yes. So how this async and defer work? Let me explain. What is this async and defer? Eliminate render blocking JavaScript. With HTML5, we got two new Boolean attributes for script tag. Earlier, we used to write script tag at the end of the body. That is what we used to do before. But now we don't have to write our script tag at the end of the body. We can place it in the head section itself. And we can use async or defer. Script src equal to demo.js, and we can use either async or defer. Async or defer attribute should only be used on external JavaScripts. Don't use them with internal JavaScript. We cannot use them. And these attributes only make sense while using the script tag in the head portion of the page. Okay, let's understand what happens when we don't use async defer. We place the script tag in the head. What happens when we don't use async defer? We place the script tag in the body. What happens with async? What happens with defer? I'll explain everything. Please understand. Let me show you something graphically. Okay. The first thing is we will use no defer, no async, and our script tag is placed in the head section. If our script tag is placed in the head section and there is no async defer used, what happens? Let's understand. What happens? JavaScript engine will start parsing HTML. It will start parsing HTML from line number 1 to line number 8. At line number 8, it will find a script tag. It will stop HTML parsing and it will execute JavaScript code. So start parsing HTML. Whenever it finds a script tag, it will fetch the JavaScript and it will execute the JavaScript. When JavaScript is being fetched and JavaScript is being executed, the HTML parsing will be halted for that amount of time. And once the JavaScript execution is over, again it will resume HTML parsing. This is how it works when we use script tag in the head section without async or defer. Is it clear?
No, sir. Can you repeat again?
What happens? JavaScript engine will start parsing HTML elements from line number 1 to line number 8. As soon as it finds a script tag, it will stop HTML parsing. It will say, oh, I got a script tag. I will go and execute the JavaScript code. So it will go to this file, will execute all the lines. Once the execution of this JavaScript file is completed, again, it will come back to line number 9 and it will start parsing other things. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes. So by the time JavaScript code is getting executed, it will look for this element. If it is not there, it will simply throw error, right?
Yes.
Yes. To avoid this problem, what we do? We write the script tag in the body, right?
Yes.
So when we write the script tag in the body without async defer, no async, we write the script tag in the body, what happens?
It will
First,
work.
all the HTML things will be parsed. So HTML things will be parsed from line number 1 to line number 14. Everything will be parsed. Only two things will be remaining. These are anyway closing tags, so it will have no impact at all. All the HTML things will be parsed first, then JavaScript will be fetched and JavaScript will be executed. So it makes sure that the JavaScript is fetched and executed once all the HTML parsing is completed, because we have placed that line at the end of the body tag. So this will make sure that all the HTML parsing is done, then the JavaScript is getting executed. Is it clear? So this
Yes,
we
sir.
used to do older days, not now. This we used to do older days. Okay. Now, when we use async and our script tag is present in the head, what happens? Let the script tag present in the head section only, and I will use async. So when we do this, what happens? When the HTML parsing is being done, two things are being done simultaneously. One is HTML parsing, and second thing, JavaScript code download. Both the things will be done simultaneously. Both the things will be done simultaneously. When the HTML parsing is done, at the same time, the JavaScript will be fetched. And once the JavaScript is fetched, JavaScript execution will happen. While JavaScript is being executed, other HTML parsing will be halted or will be stopped. And only after the JavaScript execution is over, HTML parsing will be resumed. How much time we can save here when we use async keyword? What is the amount of time we can save? We can save the time it takes to fetch the script, right? Because both of the things are being done at the same time. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But async will not guarantee that all the HTML things will be parsed first, then your JavaScript code will be executed. See, here what happens? You have only one or two HTML element. So HTML parsing is quickly being done, and before your JavaScript code gets executed, all the elements are quickly available in the DOM. So it is working fine. You can see it is working fine. It is working fine. So what does it mean? By the time this JavaScript code is getting executed, somehow these HTML elements are available in the DOM, right? Yes or no? That is why it is working now. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What if I have 1,000 divs? I have paragraph into 1,000. Hello, I am a paragraph. I have 1,000 paragraphs. After 1,000 paragraphs, I have this div. Definitely, it will take some time to load, right? After 1,000 paragraphs, that div will be loaded. What is happening? So first JavaScript code is getting executed, or first DOM element is getting ready? Who is getting ready first?
DOM element.
Sorry?
First HTML.
JavaScript.
Use JavaScript,
First,
please.
JavaScript code executed.
When JavaScript code is getting executed, your div element is not available. That is why you are seeing this error, right? Understood or not? Huh?
Yes, sir. Understood.
What if I create 10 paragraphs? If I create 10 paragraphs, it is working fine. Why it is working fine? Who is getting executed first? Your DOM is first or your JavaScript?
DOM is getting executed. DOM is first, sir.
Yes. What if I don't have 10 paragraphs? I have 100 paragraphs. What is happening? Still, DOM is faster, right? What if I have 1000 paragraphs? What is happening? So this time DOM became faster, right? But last time you saw, right? What if I have 10,000 paragraphs? So we cannot guarantee. See, this time it failed, right? Got it, na?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but if you use defer here, let us understand. When you use async will not guarantee that your JavaScript code will be executed after all the HTML elements are available. There can be few more HTML elements pending for parsing when your JavaScript code is getting executed. When your JavaScript code is getting executed, if some HTML things are still pending for parsing, you will get error. Luckily, if HTML things are getting parsed fast, then your JavaScript code is getting executed. Luckily, you will not see any issue. With defer, it will make sure that all your HTML parsing will be done, no matter how many HTML elements you have, 1, 10, 100, 500, 1000, 10,000, no matter. Once all the HTML elements are parsed, then only the JavaScript will be executed. Instead of async, if I use defer, and here I create 100 paragraphs, it will work. It will work. Let me use, instead of 100, let me use 1000. I'm using 1000 paragraph. It is still working. Let me use 1000, 10,000, 1 lakh. I'm creating 1 lakh paragraphs. I'm creating 1 lakh paragraphs. The Visual Studio Code itself is stuck. And it created no matter how many DOM elements you have, your code will be always, your JavaScript code will be executed only after all the HTML elements are available in the DOM, no matter how many DOM elements you have before that. So what is defer now? Defer will make sure that all your HTML things are parsed, then your JavaScript code is getting executed. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is called eliminate render blocking JavaScript. JavaScript code will not be executed until unless the HTML elements are available in the DOM. So nowadays, you don't have to use the script tag in the body. You can use the script tag in the head section only and use defer keyword. Okay. What if somebody asks, I will write the script tag in the body. I will write the script tag in the head with defer. Which one is better? Both of them will make sure that the JavaScript code will be executed at the end. But which one is better?
At the end, head.
Defer, sir.
Defer. Why?
Because when it is parsing HTML simultaneously, it will execute the script file.
Very good. Yes. When HTML parsing is being done, at the same time, JavaScript file is being downloaded. But if you place your script at the end, yes, for sure, you will not have any console errors, but it will take more time because it is synchronous. First HTML parsing will be done, then JavaScript will be fetched, then JavaScript will be executed. It is synchronous, one at a time. But when you write like this, your JavaScript fetching or JavaScript code download and HTML parsing, both the things will be done at the same time. We can save this much time. Got it, na?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is all about script tag with async and defer. Hope it is clear. Now the ground is open for you. If you have any questions, please ask.
Sir, actually, is there any defined DOM elements? After how many DOM elements that we can use async, or otherwise you are not async, never, or only using defer?
Yes, to answer that, let me show you. A good strategy is to use async when possible. If possible, try to use async, and then defer when async is not an option. So try to use async. If that doesn't work, we can go with defer. With async, the file gets downloaded asynchronously and then executed as soon as it is downloaded. But with defer, the file gets downloaded asynchronously, but will be executed only when the document parsing is completed. So if you want that, your JavaScript code should be executed only after the document parsing is completed, go with defer. Otherwise, we can go with async.
Sir, like how do we debug a JavaScript file?
We'll understand in a different session. We will have
Okay.
a dedicated session for that. Okay. Do we have session tomorrow? We will not have session tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. So let's not have sessions during the weekend. Only for this weekend, we will not have session. Going forward, when our regular class starts, we will have Saturday classes also.
Sir, when we get the same notes?
Once the people register, we'll share the notes and all.
Sir,
Is
I'm not
Monday is the
able to
last class?
download the same video.
You will not be able to
I'm
download
getting...
the video. The videos are only there to watch.
Okay.
Sir, will we be getting one session on Monday demo or like?
Yeah, Monday will be the last session.
Okay, fine, sure.
Sir, I have only little knowledge on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, sir. When you're teaching, I feel like very high words. So is it okay for me, or do I need to learn more HTML and JavaScript, sir?
Are you able to follow me? Maybe I'm going little faster now because I'm jumping from here to there to here. These are demo sessions, right? Maybe once
Yes.
the actual class will start, I will go sequentially. But are you able to follow me? If you are able to understand 30-40%, then
Yeah, I'm able
in
to
upcoming
understand, sir.
sessions, you will be able to understand. If you are not able to understand, then you have to plan accordingly. You have to learn HTML, CSS before you attend this Angular training.
Okay, sir. Your suggestion, sir?
You can continue. You can continue. If you have any difficulty, we'll see.
Okay, sir. Okay.
But
Thank you.
I hope you are able to understand at least something, right?
Yes,
If you are
sir.
not even understanding 20-30%, then it is a problem. Okay.
Yeah, I'm understanding what you're teaching, but I don't know, after hearing to the other questions, I thought maybe I'm
Yeah,
very new.
others, those whoever is asking question, they have some knowledge. That is why they are asking. But once actual class starts, I will go sequentially. Maybe those sessions will make more sense for you.
Okay, sir. Thanks for telling that.
Yeah.
Can we continue the same demo content in actual class which are covered in a demo?
No, whatever is covered, we are not going to repeat. So in the actual class, I will continue from here.
Okay, from Monday, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
These are actual classes only, right? Today we started with JavaScript. What is internal JavaScript? What is external JavaScript? What is async? What is defer? These are actual content only. So
Right.
this thing I will never repeat again.
Sir, actually, I got the mail regarding the Angular-14. In that, multiple contents mentioned in that different types of courses and content are related to Angular.
Maybe
So,
you just ignore that, and whatever content I showed you yesterday in a slide, right? In a
yes, right.
PPT, you can
Yes.
stick to that content. I will follow that content.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
You are welcome.
Sir, can a full stack Java developer course can take this, can attend these classes?
Full stack Java people cannot attend this. This is a separate course. If you want confirmation, you can check with the admin.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes. And if you want to connect with the admin, let me give you the number.
Yes, sir, I have. I will inquire him, sir.
Okay, okay, please do that.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, I have given two numbers. One is Naresh IT office number, and the other one is Naresh. He is the admin. He is a person. You can ping him. You can check with him.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Sir, I am attending at present full stack.net course. So then I am attending Angular West or not?
Are you asking that is it a free course for .NET developers? Is that the question?
Yes, yes.
No, I don't think this is a free course for Java people, or this is a free course for .NET people. This is completely a different course. You have to pay extra for this course. And if you still have any doubt, please reach out to Naresh admin. Maybe I'm not the best person to answer this question.
But sir, Angular faculty to is Naresh IT. Two faculty, Sudhagar sir, then Sanjay sir. Yes.
Yes.
So my doubt is at present fullstack.net is only ASP.net is pending and Angular pending. So contact me admin. So admin number please share me Naresh then to common number sir. Common number sir.
I didn't understand your question. Can you please repeat?
Sir,
Gyanaranjan Jana, can you please go on mute?
Sir, actually, my ASP.NET course admin is Arvind sir. Then Angular batch is admin Naresh sir or any other person.
Naresh sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining today's session.
Thank you,
Tomorrow
sir.
there is no session. We'll have next session on Monday.
Sir, can you please share the number of this batch admin?
The number of this batch admin I did share. This is the number for this batch admin. The person name is Naresh itself.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Naresh is the admin for this page.
Okay.
And please find the recording videos for last 2 sessions. I will give you the recording link also. And today's recording, I can share in the next class. Yeah, these are the 2 recording videos for last 2 sessions. Thank you again. Have a great weekend. Our next session is on Monday.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a
sir.
great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.